now I saw something where Akademiks interviewed Durk, and little Durk, who's a rising star king of this time, he made him answer what he thought about Gunna. That's the oldest trick in the book in hip-hop journalism. Now, Durk jumps out and says, yo, I'm not. Now these two people don't like each other for the rest of their life. But this is the type of entrapment, East Coast, West Coast beef, Vibe magazine, Source magazine, they've been doing.
No, Fat Joe, I disagree with every word that you just uttered. I got a lot of love for Fat Joe. If you ever listen to Fat Joe on his IG lives, he's one of the best storytellers I've ever seen in my life. He can literally paint pictures for you with his mouth. You don't got to be there to feel like you're there. I got love for Fat Joe. But Fat Joe, this is what bothers me, man. And I would love to get on a panel with you, to get in a room with you, talk to you about some of the things that you're uttering. I need Fat Joe and a lot of former rappers, still rappers that do interviews to understand y'all don't know what y'all talking about. Y'all did not go to school for journalism. Y'all don't know what y'all talking about. I am no DJ Akademiks apologist. We've called him out many times when we believe he's been disrespectful to artists and went way above what journalism teaches us. I'm going to always stay in the realm of journalism. I went to school for it. I studied hard for it. I was up at 3, 4, 5, 6, sometimes never sleeping to get my degree. I come from nothing. I worked very hard for my 4-year degree that I literally got into the college that I got into because of where I stayed. That's a fact. I got love for Fat Joe, but he's wrong, and he didn't go to school for this. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Just because you do interviews does not make you a journalist. Podcast is not journalism work all the time. Friends are interviewing friends, and they're calling it real journalism work. Fat Joe, let me school you. It is not DJ Akademiks' job when he's interviewing Durk to make sure Durk doesn't bring up Gunna. Just to catch y'all up quickly, Durk had a snippet out in the atmosphere about Gunna. And Akademiks asked him about said snippet, about where they stand. They had hit records in the past. In my opinion, that is all fair game for an artist in the mainstream realm. Akademiks is asking a question as an artist that Durk is. He's asking him a question about somebody that he may work with, may not work with. They have music together. Durk made a comment about him that he confirmed in the interview was about Gunna. To me, that's all fair play. It's not Akademiks' job to avoid questions to Durk. If he feels comfortable in that setting asking Durk those questions, and Durk feels comfortable answering those questions, knowing what could come behind those questions, that's not on Akademiks. Durk, I'm sure, pays somebody over $100,000 a year, probably good 6-figure money, to be his publicist. That's Durk's publicist's job. If Durk's publicist wants to say, yo, bro, we ain't answering questions like that. If Durk's publicist trains him before the interview, yo, if you get asked this, just say this. And Durk decides, okay, I'm going to answer it like that. Now I'm going to do my own thing. That's on Durk and his career. Here y'all go again, blaming journalists for y'all mess. This is what the music is consistent of nowadays. Fat Joe, when the music is discussing these things and millions upon millions of fans are consuming this, what do you think people are talking about when they're listening to this music that's out in the atmosphere? You think they talking about roses when they listen to Durk? This is the stuff that his music consists of. This is what he got famous off of. Again, that's him. Sometimes I really love the music, which I'd be a hypocrite if I said otherwise. I'm saying it would be irresponsible for Akademiks in that setting to not ask him about something that clearly is like, if he wants to avoid those type of questions with Durk, he shouldn't do the interview. I mean, we've seen this brother in the public realm lose his brother, lose an artist that he had signed to him in Vaughn. How can you not ask those questions? Again, Durk has the right to say, no comment. No, I always respect it. No comment. Any interview I've ever done in my life, somebody say no comment, I gotta respect that. I can maybe circle back. I can try to get it another way. But if not, I gotta move on. I gotta respect no comment. I don't like that we're blaming journalists over real life stuff that's happening right now. And y'all just want journalists to avoid what's going on and ignore what's going on outside. I don't think that's fair. And I disagree with Fat Joe. I would love to get in a room and discuss my thoughts on some of this stuff, because I believe blaming journalists is a cop-out. That's a cop-out that rappers have used for many, many years, but we understand the dynamics. Athletes hate the journalists, that inspires them. Rappers hate the journalists, that inspires them. We get the dichotomy. It works. It works. But again, as a journalist, it's not my job to be that man's publicist. I got to give responsibility on a grown man to answer questions responsibly. Now, in that same token, when I see Vlad doing an interview with an artist that I don't believe to be successful enough, when we seen the young brother in Texas that did the interview, and then a couple days later, you know, he talked about a robbery that happened to him, and then he gets killed after he said, you know, he killed somebody in a robbery, an attempted robbery or whatever. To me, I don't like doing those interviews talking about that stuff, because these are not successful musicians that are professional. I wish there was a way that an artist can have so many listens or streams that we can put them as a professional journalist, like we do an NBA player or a professional hockey or baseball or football player, right? Because there needs to be a gap. Like, a professional artist needs to be able to afford a publicist. That young dude that was, you know, talking about what he talked about in that Vlad interview, I didn't know his situation, and I'm not so sure he can afford a publicist to be able to coach him on certain things to talk about and not talk about. But when we're talking about a professional rapper that Durk is, a successful one at that, if the music is talking about this, how can Akademiks be a respected journalist in that realm if he avoids all the questions that the music is talking about? I'm interviewing you on your art. I'm talking about your art. It's not like Durk raps about one thing, personal stuff happened in his life that contradicts the rap, right? Like, that'll be different. This is in his music. This is in his art. The interview is to promote his art. I don't agree with Fat Joe, but I want to hear everybody's comments on this one. Y'all, I got love for Fat Joe, but I just disagree with that one, man. We can't talk out of two sides of our mouth, man.